You ever follow every rule and somehow get punished harder, like you do exactly what they ask, and the screen doesn't say thanks? It gets darker because the scariest moment isn't under review, it's what comes after you comply. The setup last video, my account went limited. Support hit me with the same 4 words on repeat for security reasons. So I did what people tell you to do. Stay calm, be polite, verify everything, play nice. I thought compliance was the exit. I was wrong. One morning I opened the app and the status changed. Not approved, not resolved. 2 words that sound like progress, but feel like a trap. Action required. And the crazy part? They still won't tell you what triggered it. They just tell you to do more. More documents, more verification, more waiting. So let me ask you something. If they won't tell you what you did, how do you know what to fix? You don't. You just keep feeding the machine. Here's what compliance looks like in real life. You upload the ID, you take the selfie, you confirm the address, you repeat the same steps you already did, and you do it fast. Because you're thinking like a human. If I do it perfectly, it'll unlock. But you're not dealing with a human. You're dealing with a system that doesn't reward effort. It rewards uncertainty. Right after you submit, you get the soothing message. Thanks. We'll review it in 24 to 72 hours. And people hear that and think, okay, 3 days. But 24 to 72 hours is not a promise. It's a sedative. Because nothing forces the system to finish, and nothing forces support to explain. So you wait, and you refresh, and you try not to panic, but your brain starts doing math. Bills, rent, plans, food. Because your money is technically there, but functionally untouchable. Then comes the moment nobody warns you about. After you submit everything, the status doesn't improve. It escalates from under review to action required to something that feels like a door slamming. Locked. Not limited, not restricted. Locked. And that's the moment your stomach drops. Because now it's not a review, it's a cage. So of course you message support again. Because what else can you do? And you get a reply that sounds responsible, but means nothing. We can't share details for security reasons. Same 4 words, different stage. And now those words don't feel like security, they feel like power. Because think about it. If I'm innocent, I'm locked. If I'm guilty, I'm locked. Same outcome. The system doesn't need to prove anything. It just needs to feel uncertain. And you pay the price for uncertainty. Here's the darkest part. Compliance isn't just helping them verify you. Compliance creates new data points, new photos, new documents, new timestamps, new patterns. And if the system is already suspicious, more data doesn't always clear you. Sometimes it gives the system more reasons to doubt you. So when people say, just verify, I want to laugh. So when people say, just verify, I want to laugh. Not because they're wrong, but because they have no idea what verify can turn into. Because verify sounds like a finish line, until you realize it can be a staircase with no top. You verify. Then you verify again. Then you verify harder. And somehow the screen never says done, it just changes labels. And that's the real horror. The labels move, but the control doesn't return. So let me ask you something that nobody wants to answer. If they refuse to tell you what triggered it, how are you supposed to fix anything? You can't fix a rule you're not allowed to see. You can only comply. And compliance feels safe until you notice what compliance actually does. It creates more data points, more photos, more documents, more timestamps, more patterns. And if the system already thinks you're risky, More data doesn't always clear you. Sometimes it just gives a system more ways to doubt you. So when people say, just verify, what they really mean is, just keep feeding the machine. And that's why this doesn't feel like security, because security should protect you. This protects the system. It protects the system from explaining, from being accountable, from admitting it's automated, from admitting it's guessing. Yeah, guessing. Because a lot of these systems don't know anything. They look at behavior and decide what it feels like. New phone, new IP, new location, new routine, a withdrawal at a weird hour. Flag. Not because it's illegal, not because it's wrong, because it's unusual. And once you get labeled unusual, you're not a customer anymore. You're a risk. And a risk doesn't get an explanation. A risk gets a cage. Now here's the part that messes with your head. They don't even have to accuse you. They just let the silence accuse you. Because the moment you see locked, your brain starts doing detective work on your own life. What did I do? What did I touch? What changed? Was it the Wi-Fi? Was it the device? Was it the timing? Was it the amount? And the more you search, the worse it feels. Because there's nothing to find. No reason, no trigger, no clear rule. Just a status label and a support script. So your brain does the only thing it can do. It starts blaming you. And self-blame is the most profitable emotion for a system like this. Because self-blame keeps you quiet, keeps you polite, keeps you obedient, keeps you uploading. And the system rewards obedience with more waiting. That's the loop. Do more, wait more, ask less. Now I want you to notice the order of events because it tells you everything. First, the punishment appears. Then you beg for the reason. Then they hide behind a sentence that sounds responsible for security reasons. 4 words that can justify anything. 4 words that can end any conversation. And if you think this is rare, let me prove it without naming any specific platform. Look at this. Evidence on screen. Read the line. They did what they were asked to do, uploaded what they were asked to upload, and it still stayed under review. No timeline, no details, no end date. Now watch this one. Evidence be on screen. Different place, same vibe. We can't provide any information for security reasons. So it's not just you, it's not just me, it's a pattern. And patterns are not accidents, they're design. Now let's talk about the timer, because the timer is the most genius part of the trap. 24 to 72 hours, that message isn't there to help you, it's there to shut you up. It buys the system time, it buys support silence, it buys the platform distance, because if they were confident they could finish in 72 hours, they would give you an ETA, a real ETA, a date, but they don't. They give you a window that sounds reasonable and has 0 enforcement. So you wait, and you refresh, and you keep trying to be a good customer, and your life slowly starts orbiting that status label. Day 1, you check every hour. Day 2, you check as soon as you wake up. Day 3, you tell yourself 72 hours. Day 4, nothing. Day 5, you start bargaining with your own bills. Day 7, you stop making plans because everything becomes maybe. Maybe it unlocks today. Maybe support replies. Maybe the review ends. And the moment you see no ETA, your brain finally understands something brutal. This could end tomorrow, or in a month, or never, and you're not allowed to plan your life around maybe. That's why people spiral, not because they're weak, because uncertainty is a torture tool. And for security reasons is how the system justifies uncertainty. without explaining. Now I already know what comment is coming. Bro, if they locked you, you definitely did something. Okay, let's play that game. If I did something, name it. Was it logging in from a new phone? Traveling? Changing my password? Trying to withdraw at a weird time? Moving my own money too fast? Because if normal behavior can trigger punishment, then nobody is safe. That's the point. The system doesn't need proof. It needs a vibe. And when the vibe is risk, you lose control. And you can't even argue because you don't get the rule. You don't get the evidence. You don't get the timeline. You get the gate. And gates don't debate. Now answer this honestly. If the money is on your screen, but you can't touch it, what is that? Is it really your money? Or is it just a screenshot that makes you feel safe? Because ownership without control isn't ownership. It's decoration. It's the illusion of access. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. So here's what I want in the comments. No polite answers. Pick one: user error or system abuse. Then drop a number. How many days would you wait before you snapped? 1/3/9/. Never just the number. And if you've ever seen these words, action required locked, no ETA for security reasons. Tell me exactly where you saw them, because the more examples we stack, the clearer it becomes. This isn't a rare glitch, it's a feature. Next video, I'm going after the biggest lie of all, that 24 to 72 hours message. Because once you understand what that timer is really doing, you'll never read it the same way again.